How did you come up with the idea to have the worship encounter?
It was a Wednesday night, 1st of May. I was going through the questions that we had for our panel discussion. So what normally we do is that we have a Google form that we send to our teenagers to ask us any questions that they would like us to answer at our panel. Then one of the teenagers had sent in a question saying that why don't we have the topic or series based on prayer? So initially our month of May was supposed to be the mustard seed. Was supposed to be something that was based on faith. So now we're looking at that statement. I felt like, okay, it's time to add prayer and faith together since they go hand in hand. Then, as I was in my prayer session, something just told me to listen to a specific song, and the name of the song is "The Deeper Experience" by Esther Jonathan. And as soon as I started listening to her, I just felt like if we were all in this room, we're all in one room, having an encounter, having like a worship night, how would that feel? And suddenly I just felt like, no, I think this is the right time to have that worship encounter. And I texted Michelle, why don't we have a worship encounter? Obviously, when you bring an idea like that, you never know what's the response you're gonna get, because it's the first time we've ever done it. It's the first time that, as Pulse, we've decided that we're gonna do a series based on this and ending it off with an encounter. So that's how the idea of the encounter came up.
Elevate with your worship ethic. Declare what you want to change. Out of my belly.
Out of my belly
Out of my belly.
flow rivers of living waters.
I must introduce myself.
Yes.
My name is Didier Panzia, and I am the Teens Ministry Coordinator.
To have a deeper experience. It's time to release that baggage that you've been holding on. Stop letting your baggage become your personality.
I would describe myself as someone who's very goal driven, who wants to achieve a lot in terms of everything that he does. I'm also passionate about the things that I do, which includes now teens ministry. So yeah, I think that's how I would describe myself in that sense.
All right, all right. How would you say your experience has been so far in terms of planning for house ministry events, coordinating, administration?
I think it's been difficult so far, but obviously manageable. I think at the time that it happened, we were supposed to have our stand conference.
Stand. We stand for Jesus, 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 Jesus. Like David, I'm taking a stand, fighting that giant like he ain't a man. Jesus always on my back, igniting the lion inside of a lamb. We standing on faith, the devil a liar, he fell out of place. We standing on business, but let me tell you that we standing on Jesus. 10 toes.
And obviously that was the first major hurdle on my first day. And I think from that, I've been able to obviously plan other events, but it's not something that I do alone. I have a wonderful team that helps me and that helps me get through everything that I need to do. So having a wonderful team besides me is something that I'm grateful for.
All right, okay. Can you tell us a bit about your team or your crew?
So I'll first start with Michelle. I think she is someone that is very creative when it comes to thinking. I think in terms of the events that we've had so far and the planning that we've done so far for this year, she's been a major force in terms of the thinking behind anything. So from the planning to the execution, she's been someone that I've been able to depend on and to lean on.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle. I recently finished high school last year, and this year I've been dedicating most of my year to the Pulse Teens Ministry. I'm one of the Pulse leaders, and yeah, that's basically my role. I think it was an awesome idea the first time I heard about it, because it came about in an unexpected way. So we had our panel discussion, and then one of the questions or requests was that we have a series based on prayer and faith. And then our Pulse leaders, who heads all of us, basically was like, you know what, why don't we close it off with a worship encounter? And we started to plan for it, and I think as we continued thinking about the idea of having our first ever worship encounter, the excitement and anticipation grew.
We have Lungelo, and he's my brother. I've known him since I was 13, and we've come up a long way together, from playing football to now serving together in the same team. So walking that journey with him has been wonderful. He's a jack of all trades, as I would say. Someone who is very dependable. He's someone who is always willing to help at any time.
My name is Lungelo Siveko.
Are you starting already?
You are starting. Oh, Mr. Man, why you not say 3, 2, 1 action? What do I do here at the church? Currently, I'm the kids ministry coordinator. Also, one of the Pulse leaders. Yeah, the vibrant one, the one that's enthusiastic, and everything in between. Yeah. When I first heard about it on the panel, to tell you frank, I was shocked, because I've never expected it from, especially our Pulse teenagers, to want such a worship encounter or worship night, And for that, I was like, as a leader, I was proud. That's one. I was happy, secondly, because for so long we've been trying to grow them spiritually and mentally and physically in all aspects of life. So when they themselves wanted a worship encounter, I was proud and also shocked.
Then you have Mapere. She's obviously new. She's someone that brings a sense of calm. When she speaks, you can hear that even though she's soft-spoken, but there's a assertiveness about her. So she's a voice of reason at times, and yeah.
Hi, so my name is Mapere Sitina, and preferably Mapere, because your surname sounds very formal. I recently just moved here, I think in Jan, and my first time at Pulse was in February when they had their V-Ball. It was a bit hectic because, number one, I had not had any relationships with anyone here. I did not have friends, so I had to start everything from scratch. But it was so warm when everyone was like welcoming and they kept embracing me. Everyone was so excited to serve alongside me. And within the leadership, I am volunteering mostly just a bit everywhere, if I could say, because I'm just assisting in a way. Part of the planning team, but I'm not deep into it as well. I assist with hospitality sometimes, and yeah, where I'm needed. And I sometimes squeeze myself into other things like singing. And also, okay, I'm going to put it this way. Building relationships with most of the youth members here at the church. Initially, when I came to hear about it, it came across as, okay, we were planning to have a whole movie night, but the kids requested more for a worship encounter, and we decided, let's just do it. And for me, I was like, okay, I believe in this thing, and I know it's going to work out. Until one Saturday when we came to church to be trained for Holiday Club, and I walked into the hall and I saw Rutabile and Snentle practicing, and I was like, oh, you guys are practicing. What is it for? They were like, yeah, it's for worship encounter. We have a special item that we're doing. And I was like, okay. But initially they didn't want to share with me. So I just said, in any case, I could be of assistance. You could use me. And then they laughed. And then they said, yeah, technically, yeah, we could use you. And then they asked me to be part of them and also to kind of assist them here and there, which for me was quite amazing and rejuvenating, because even back at home, I used to spend most of my time with the youth there, and we would practice our vocals and pray and read the word at the same time. So that's one of the things that I picked up from Worship Encounter is everyone who was involved in it made it very intentional, and they prayed about it. They some of them fasted, some of them got together and practiced. Even on days where it was a bit difficult for them to meet up, they made sure that they prioritized it, which for me was quite inspiring because it showed that there's a whole unity towards the worship encounter actually happening, and it turned out really good.
Hi guys, my name is Snentle Adonis, and I would describe myself as someone who is, I guess, reserved for some people, and I would also describe myself as smart and funny, yeah.
My name is Rutabile Tepe, and how would I describe myself? As a bubbly person, love people, a worshiper, definitely, and I think I'm funny. Honestly, I was like, what? But then at the same time, I was excited, I was scared, I was nervous. I was nervous, I won't lie. But, you know, as the days came, that nervousness actually went by. Like, just gone. When Yedidi approached me with the idea, I was quite nervous at first because it was like 1 week behind. But I guess with the proposal of performing with other people, it kind of helped me to be able to have the confidence to go up on stage as well.
And then we have Hope. Hope is our worship leader. She recently just got the role of worship leader, and working with her has been so far so good. I think the worship team is the team that they have their own ways of doing things, you know. So having Hope as someone who's been there for a long time, she knows the ins and the outs of the worship team. So having her as the leader is a great thing. She's very determined, she's a passionate worshiper, and I think we always need that when it comes to worship.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hope. I serve as the worship team leader at Paulson's Ministry. Finished high school last year, and it's an honor to be serving. Yeah. So one of my, I don't know if to say colleagues or leaders that I'm with, messaged me and say, hey, I have an idea. Why shouldn't we start worship night at the end of the month? And so the first reaction I got was, okay, wow, can happen. But my team will now take time to communicate. But I decided to do it anyway. I communicated with them, and they were like, good, we can do it. I think can happen. By the grace of God, it will happen. And it did. We planned the songs. It was stressful. It was chaotic. But nice at the end because we got to see how we can really work together as a team. And we finally did it. Came 31st of May, shoot the shots. I remember even asking one of the worship leaders how to even bring Vibe the same way they had done it at Stand Conference to church, at my local church. And the advice was really amazing. It blew my mind, and I would try to also execute it here. And I think it's working so far. So it was a very great experience for me.
Okay. How did you feel in the days approaching the worship encounter?
I was nervous because I think we've had so many events in the past. We've had sleepovers, we've had talent shows, but this one just felt different in some sorts because we felt like we owed it to the teenagers to give them something that they could see as memorable. And leading up to the encounter, there was a sense of nerves, like from the worship team themselves to the execution of the whole production. There was just a sense of, maybe if it doesn't go right, how the team's gonna feel, or the turnout, especially. You never know how many people are gonna come to an event like that, especially when you're doing it for the first time. So we felt like, I felt like there was some nerves, but at the end of the day, we just had to get through and fulfill whatever will God has given us to do so that we can have this wonderful event.
I remember sitting with my team and we're just saying, okay, going through a list of songs because they had suggestions. I first took in their suggestions and they suggested so many songs. I'm like, okay, guys, there's so many songs, but we only need like 7. So it was really a smooth thing. We just chose the songs. We're like, yes, we'll do this one, this one, this one. That's how we came about with the songs.
Not as bad. I think we've had more hectic events before. So throughout the years, we went through those hectic events. I think maybe, I want to say we gained momentum or skills. Because now, as we planned for the worship encounter, it wasn't as stressful and chaotic. So everything was sort of smooth. And even on the day, as the day progressed and we went into the event, everything sort of just flowed. Maybe you could even say it was just us encountering God in that space as well.
She still does.
West. It's in English. Well, it's in French, but it's translated.
What's the French one?
The French one is.
Sorry.
It's beautiful, huh? It's beautiful.
What about here? Here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing. I'm gonna write worship encounter.
Alright.
And you know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign.
Then I sign A. How are you? Why are you carrying boxes?
the point.
I'm thinking, because I want to find the false, but I won't find it.
Hi.
I'm going to do the thing for DX. Japan.
Hi. Hi. Okay, stop now. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough.
Thank you. What sounds better?
Oh, why? Why are they shouting?
Today's been shouting since you got Please make sure it's... What up? Okay, sharp.
Tico!
There's no one. I get it. And you still have to do the other side. But probably if we master here, we can master. Let's carry this. It's because I leave earlier.
That one. Yeah, why? What? So, what are we gonna talk? You doing this?
Hi.
That's not even close to this.
Dog, I'm not copying this.
Oh well, my name is Ntozo and I've recently finished high school last year. I part of the media team right here at church, the man behind the scenes. I was shocked. I did not know. I kept on saying worship night, whereas it was encounter. Well, I heard when it was being discussed then that we're gonna have something called a worship encounter, which it was something I was like, what is it? It's confused, but yeah, that's how I found out about it.
Hi, I'm Sandra Miguel. If I have to describe myself, I'm an extrovert, very much bubbly. I'm an introvert sometimes when my social battery goes off. And profession, I'm a professional graphic designer. I'm a visual director at the church and a camera person in videography and photography. One of the leaders for the Pulse had told me that they were actually planning a worship encounter since they were doing a series called The Mustard Seed, which was based in prayer and worship. And immediately when he had told me about it, I was super excited because we've never tried something like that in Pulse. Preparations. There was a bit of pressure, but I loved the pressure because we were actually preparing something that we've never really, done before, most especially in Pulse. So I was super excited, preparing it, but preparation was good.
Okay. How would you describe the atmosphere during the worship encounter?
It was something that I've seen it happen, or I've felt that atmosphere at other youth conferences that I've gone to. I'll say, for instance, we had Stand Conference, and that has played a major role into us wanting to build up an atmosphere. And on the day, I felt like we had come to a point where we'd reached another level in terms of our spirituality. So the atmosphere was so it was so inviting of God's presence. You could sense that everyone was here with one mission, and that was to experience, that was to have a deeper experience with God. And with all of that, we got to see many teenagers worshiping. Well, we normally have 15 minutes allocated, but for this one, we felt like we're gonna just do something spectacular. And that atmosphere that was created from the moment that people entered, it was just wonderful.
Having a deeper experience for me, it's being able to have spiritual awareness. You know, when you're aware of certain things in your life, where you understand that, you know, when most people believe that when God is quiet, He's not there. Well, for me, I look at it as when God is quiet, there's a lesson to be taught in that moment, where He wants you to acknowledge the fact that you are going through a process of pruning and a process of maturing as a person. And then if we look at the Bible, what David wanted to have when he was praying to God in Psalm 90, if I'm not mistaken, and that they call that the higher understanding, or in Hebrew the maschil, a higher understanding, a deeper understanding of God. When he wanted to know God and to see God in a much deeper way, and to have a higher intellectual experience with God. So that's, for me, that's one way I would look at it.
The Lord was here and He was moving, and some of us exceeded the given time. But I think I had already prepared the planning team's hearts that, okay, guys, this is gonna, please be lenient towards us because we might exceed the time. And they actually understood, and it was amazing. And I thank God that they let that happen, because then now we did not limit ourselves to the experience or the move of God that was in the place. So, yeah.
Come on! It was my first time performing in a group, and I must say, it was actually one of the best times, because I thought that we would all be like yelling at each other, and that did not happen. I would say that I would love to do it again. Yeah. There was this one Saturday where we rehearsed, and it was just amazing. Like, the Holy Spirit, we felt it, you know. And I would say the rehearsals that we did do did not feel like we were just rehearsing for something that, you know, I don't know, we were not just rehearsing for anything, but for the worship encounter. It was a very big night for us, because there were times where I felt that, you know, I might not be able to do this, I might freeze on stage, but really performing with people boosted my confidence.
because most of the time we just empowered each other on the word and praying for encounter worship. So it was just like, you know, there were no any personality clashes that I know of.
So the theme was a deep experience with God, right? And that experience was an experience that I really desired to have as a team or as a leader who was working with a team to execute the theme. It was a very great experience for me that I desired to experience, and God had our prayers in our hearts to say, God, we are planning this Pulse Worship encounter. May we please have that deep experience with you. And I think it really, God saw our hearts and it's like, okay, if you want to have a deeper experience with me, if that's your desire, I will definitely do it. So it was really a great experience for me and a deeper one as well. So the rehearsals, I normally check on availability. So most of my team members are at school. So it was really a struggle to say, okay guys, when will we meet? Either this day or this day, at what time? And it was really stressful because we had now chaotic mindsets and fatigue and hunger in the last 2 days, and we're just like, we can pull through this. So I think it was availability that was stressful for us, and our mindset to say, okay, we are doing it, but at the moment it doesn't even seem like it's gonna work. But we kept on pushing, and it finally happened that, okay, we did this.
It was one advice from a fellow cameraman that whenever you're taking pictures of a certain event in a certain place, you need to make sure that whatever you're taking, when you're gonna publish it, you should make the person who's not there feel that they are already there. So taking pictures during worship encounter, that was one thought in my mind, that for those that are not here and those who want to see the moment again, it should be good pictures. And
when I was visual directing, I was like, wow, I wish I wasn't serving. I wish I was actually in the service, because while I was visual directing it, I don't know, like I really felt a blow. Like up until now, I can't really describe how I felt, but then it was such a very beautiful session. And you know, while serving, I even got emotional. I started praying in my own space. And I'm like, if I could feel that while serving God, while being in behind the scenes, while visual directing, then how are the people that are actually in the service feeling? So it was so powerful. I really felt the move of God.
Okay. What would you say a deeper experience with God meant for you or meant for the Pulse Ministry?
I think it's from whatever stage you are in your relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just meant of moving on to the next step. So if you know about God, it's time to know of God. If you know of God, it's time to testify about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole sense of having a deeper experience with God was to move from your status quo to into a place where it might seem uncomfortable at first, but then you need to really go.
We need to stop to try and fill a God-sized hole with other things. It's not gonna work. We know way too much about God to be acting the way we are acting. We know way too much about God to be acting with little faith. We know way too much about God to be having so much sin. It's time to have a deeper experience.
Okay, so the theme was a deeper experience with God. The worship encounter gave us exactly that. Because as a Pulse Teens Ministry, we've never had an opportunity to actually come together and worship God and pray for literally 2 hours. So I think when we look at the worship encounter and when we look back, we got exactly that. So we got to experience God deeper together. We got to pray deeper. We got to worship even more than we usually do. Since we usually have that allocated time, which is like 15 minutes or so in our usual Pulse sessions. So this did hit that point, the deeper experience with God.
I remember thinking and praying that when I do sing, that each and every song touches a person's spirit, and they may not just enjoy the song, but they should feel changed when they walk out of the auditorium. And when I prayed that people in the auditorium should not be ashamed to worship. So there are definitely nerves. I would not say that when you perform, no one has nerves. Yeah. So when I first got on stage, guys, I was very nervous because, I was the first one to perform. So I had to come in with a bang. And then I really enjoyed the way the audience responded to my worship. I love that they were able to interact with me in the song, and I love that they were also able to, sing along, and some of them stand up.
Why would you say that it was so important for the Pulse Teens Ministry to have that deeper experience with God?
Pulse is heading into a new way. Pulse is heading into a new direction. I think we've had so many things. I think we've had so many ways of doing things. And I think with the deeper experience for the worship encounter, I think it was more of a way to solidify that we are taking that next step in terms of our spirituality.
When I started seeing more and more teenagers coming in, that's where I realized that, okay, it's finally here, it's finally happening. Teenagers really want to encounter God, really want to stand together and be one with one another in a unified context of young people standing up together, worshiping God and praising Him in no other context as we've ever done before here in Cornerstone.
After the encounter, I got so many messages from so many people, even my team itself. They were like, Hope, we thank you so much for trusting us to do this. We thank you that this has given us courage to even continue doing even another encounter, or being confident in our voices, that we know that if we sing from our heart and involve God in it, it can touch people's lives. So it was really a great moment, and learned a lesson after that.
That the worship encounter has paused. Every time I think about it, I think about what a shame it is that some of our teenagers were not able to make it because it was really a life-altering experience. Let me say it like that. because during that worship encounter, when I look back, I feel like it was an opportunity to revive or to rejuvenate our passion and love for Christ. So it was quite awesome. And luckily, at least we live streamed it. So if anyone wasn't there, they can simply try to just go back and watch it, and hopefully they can have that same life-altering experience that we had.
Good. It feels good to show that actually my work is contributing towards something good, something memorable, and yeah. Although it's hectic, I won't leave that one out, it's hectic, but overall it's a bittersweet moment to be part of it. Makes me feel like I can tell the whole community, like, that's me there. I took that shot. I mean, I was running around this auditorium up and down, and having to see that type of job being displayed, I mean, it's good, it's good. It shows that truly my work doesn't go to waste.
When I look back at it, I would say it was one of the best nights of my life, because it was a time where I got to express myself and minister the word of God through music for the first time ever. And it actually opened my eyes into a perspective that, you know, there is something else you could do apart from teaching about the word of God.
Just to name a few, when the Pulse worship team kind of gave the charisma on stage, it started the whole thing. Like, it started it changed the mood in the room, and it created a whole new environment where everybody was free to praise as they wanted to. My other highlight is when people are actually praying amidst the worship leaders leading. Because for me, the most important thing about gatherings as this is that we remember that just singing is not really enough, but also communicating with God and also giving Him the glory that He deserves. Because if I may, there was a time when I was leading worship, and the only thing that would repeat in my heart, in my head, was pray, pray, pray. Let the people know that they must pray in this moment. So I totally forgot about the song. I didn't even remember the next lyric of the song. All I remembered was just telling people, let's pray. So I think it's important for us that we also remember that there must always be a balance between praying and also singing hymns and giving praise to God through hymns of worship. Another highlight is when we were closing and they played praise. Everybody was just dancing around with their flashlights on, and it was just amazing because you could see that they really enjoyed being here. No one looked like they were forced, and they really had a good time. But also at the same time, their lives were impacted because we see it in the conversations that we would have after the worship encounter. Yo, Friday was amazing. Yo, can we take it back? Yo, rewind. People are still sharing the links and everything. So it's kind of a good thing, and it's one of the most things to remember in all of it. Yeah.
I think as a ministry, or as teenagers in general, we always face some sort of doubts of whether you could achieve good things. But I think with Pulse, you have now that when you look at Pulse, there's that thing of we are able to go further. We're able to prove that indeed we can have that relationship with God. I think as a ministry, it sort of put a statement to what we're building, which is moving on to the next level, and also the vision of the church, which is impact. I think the encounter was there for us to have a deeper impact into the lives of the teenagers and the young adults who attended. So the importance of it is to show that we are able to experience God on a deeper level, but also take that experience and take it into our everyday lives.
Like camera lights action. I'm not a bit out. She would be like dangling her phone like this. Look. Let me help you. I'm trying to be steady.
Damn. I don't know where to start, but I'd like to make a shout out to a special someone who I feel that they helped me a lot in where I am. And I'd like to say thank you to Promise for all the skills that you've taught me, all the ins and outs of the camera, and I really appreciate that. We